Welcome back, guys, to our fourth episode of Syringe Secrets.
Yeah, we finally got here.
We've made
Like
it to
3
our
months
fourth
in.
episode.
Cause I just fucking hurry up. You know that.
Yeah, we're back. And yesterday we celebrated my birthday.
Yes, you had a great one.
I did have a good one.
Yeah.
So, it was my 35th birthday, and I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't really feeling this birthday. And I think that it was because one, turning 35, and I'm not really sure why, but like I just feel like I felt like, oh, it's all getting very serious. Life is getting very serious.
I think when you hit them 5s and 10s.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like my now next big milestone is 40, and that is scary.
Yeah. Okay.
No, but I don't know, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Because I felt like turning 30, I felt like, all right, that's fine. Every birthday after that, I've just thought, ugh.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't really into celebrating this birthday. And also for other reasons, because I don't know why, because I lost my dad 4 years ago, but this year I felt like it's really hit me a lot harder.
Yeah.
So like his birthday, the day he passed away, and my birthday, it's just, I don't know, I felt like real sense of like a void this year. I don't know why just this year, but yeah, it's just been a bit of a weird one. So everyone has constantly been asking me, so what are you going to do for your birthday? What are you going to do for your birthday? And I was like, I'm working. I normally work on my birthday anyway, but because I also enjoy my work, so it's just something to do. But yeah, I don't know, I just really wasn't into celebrating this birthday.
Yeah, you made it very hard for me. I'm not coming. I don't know where I'm going. I was like, just get ready. He was like, but I'm working. But you did.
That was annoying though.
Yeah, but you needed to, because I know you would have worked.
Yeah.
So you're that person like me. I'm like, no, and especially because you don't know where you're going. You're always in control, and I don't think you like that you're not in control.
Yeah, no, it was hell. So
yeah, like, even me driving you.
Yeah,
you was like, no, I need to.
Yeah, I just need a minute. Like I just felt so kidnapped. So basically, Shadia then turned up at my house. At what, 9:30 or something like that, 9:45.
Even though I told you to get ready for
in the
9:15.
morning. No, but then the night before, because I kept saying I'm working, you were like, okay, just work then. And then in the morning, you're like, I'm on my way to you. I was like, what?
Yeah. I felt bad because obviously I'd planned it all.
Yeah.
And I couldn't cancel on the woman because they'd done a private appointment. They wasn't starting that until like the afternoon, evening. I'd rang her, spoke to her. I'd organised it from the weeks before. And then when I said to you, when are you working? You was like in the afternoon. I was like, okay, that's fine.
No, I didn't say the afternoon. I know, you misheard me.
You were saying till the afternoon. Yeah. But I heard you say afternoon.
Yeah.
Anyway, you was very...
So Shadia turned up at my house. Basically, Shadia was my boyfriend yesterday. That's what I felt like. I felt like...
No, it
was. And it was hard for me because I'm normally
You're
that
normally
person.
The boyfriend.
Yeah, I normally do that for other people.
Yeah.
So Shadia turned up at my house and with flowers.
Yeah, of course. Like Pretty Woman.
Yeah, she
turned
up
the door.
With
She's
flowers.
Like, I'm coming. I just felt rushed.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my God. So I just felt so rushed. Anyway, we then came to the salon. She gave me a few gifts here. The girls had like put up, you probably can't see, but there's a little happy birthday sign up here. A cake and other little bits. And then Shadia was like, right, we're going. And I said, where are we going? And you wouldn't tell me. And what I realised as well yesterday is I actually don't like surprises. And I think that's because I don't like to not be in control of what's going on. But yeah, so she was like, we're going somewhere. So Shadia took me to, where did we even go?
Alcester.
Never been there before. Beautiful place. And so anyway, we're driving there, and she just keeps saying, are you okay? And I was just like, no, like I just need a minute. I don't know what we're doing, where we're going. Yeah. I'm not actually feeling all right now. Yeah. So yeah, we got to Alcester, and then it's like this little like quaint little village. There's all these like little
shops, bakeries.
Yeah, like
You thought you was going to get a pair of golas.
No, yeah, because there's all these little private shops, Carl. Like I don't like independent shop.
Yeah, like high street.
And And like, I just kept looking around thinking, where are we going? Like, there was a carpet shop there. There was like a bakery. I was thinking, I said to her, I said, are we getting a carpet? Like, I'm so confused. Like, what are we doing?
And then we pulled up
I just
outside
didn't
in the
know
estate
what was-
agent. She went, are we buying a house?
Yeah, I just didn't know what was going on. So she was like, yeah, you can pick a house. I was like, what is happening? So anyway, we've then walked into this really, really cute, like, vintage jewelry shop. And it was beautiful. And they basically were doing permanent bracelets. And I'd seen them online, very, very cute. And Shadia had planned for us to have these little permanent bracelets, and I could pick my little gem on there. So yeah, that was really, really sweet. And then we went for a little bit of lunch at this gorgeous, what was it?
Like a beach.
Like a
Panorama Mill. Absolutely stunning. But it's opposite Bradley.
pub,
yeah.
And it had like gorgeous
she was like,
views.
You're going to a pub. But then when you got there.
No, I didn't mean it like that. You're making me sound ungrateful. No.
Yeah, but you was like, at first, she was like, now where are we going? We've got clients. I was thinking,
I need to get back to the salon. I've got work to do. And she was like, no, we're just going to stop here. And there was this like gastro pub, and it was like right by the river, and it was just really, really nice and beautiful, and it just kind of gave me like a bit of a reset, which was nice.
But I feel like what was nice for you is that you don't have that. You do that for everybody else.
Yeah.
And I feel like you was a little bit in shock, if I'm honest.
No,
because I felt like you was overwhelmed. You was, and it was. I feel like it was a bit emotional as well because of your dad, and because probably you haven't had that stuff kind of done since your dad probably, and you was like, because it was all like planned, and it's normally you doing the planning and you doing the organising and you in control of everything, and you were just like letting someone else take the lead, and then but everything was like, oh okay, this is cute, oh okay, I like this.
It was nice. It was really nice, and like I said, I really appreciated it. And I think that I found it difficult as well because, like you said, I've not had people go all out for me in a sense. Do you know what I mean? But also, I felt like I don't know. It's a hard one to kind of describe because I feel like I don't expect anything from anyone. And like, you could have just shown up and said happy birthday and I would have been more than happy with that. Do you know what I mean? And for you to do all of those things, I kept thinking like, oh no. You don't need to do anymore. Like, it's fine. Like, stop now. Not in the sense of stop now, it's not nice. I just meant as in like, maybe it's me accepting that like love. I find that difficult. But then it leads us on to the topic today of like, when is enough? Like, to give, not in terms of just birthdays, but just generally with friendships, relationships, and in work environments. Because like we've said on all of our podcasts, we are those people that we do give. Yeah,
because I'm very much a giver and a lot of people are takers for me. But we're very the same. Like, you're that person, I'm that person for even my stuff, for friends, family, everything. And it's not that, it's just that I've always been from at a very young age, from like 14, 15, that hustler, that giver, that person where like I'd give my mom stuff, I'd provide, you know what I mean? Like we kind of grew up where at one point we never really had, like sometimes we have no electric. Like it was at that point like we'd run out of electric, and I remember like I was going on certain things to like raise money to go and get electric. Like at a young age, when you're doing things like that, I think it makes you appreciate life as well then. But I feel like for me, when you take that responsibility on young, you then tend to
mother everyone.
Yes.
And want to look after everyone.
And that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And not like with you yesterday, but I felt like you needed that. And he needed to be taken out and have that spoiled day and enjoy it all. And it was the more surprises because you was like, when you sat down and was really actually in the moment and you was present, because you're never present. I did not like that. But you're always busy in your mind, on your phone. And for you to actually be present in that moment, that's why you got overwhelmed. And we even had a moment because I felt about your dad, I felt about my mom, and like they were them sort of people that they do things for us. So, and I feel like when you had that, you felt that emotion and it hit you. Yeah. But it's good to feel like that, and it's nice to be able to be vulnerable in certain situations to a point where, and it's not like people ain't taking the piss. Somebody's doing something for you for once. Yeah. And and I feel like
I felt very like loved yesterday by everybody, like all like
because even when you got back,
when I got back, one of my friends, Natalie, had shown up. Like I didn't know she was coming. She'd brought me flowers. Like to me, like it's all like it's just the little things.
Yeah,
isn't
it's the small things.
Yeah, it is.
It doesn't matter about the value of nothing.
No,
Yeah.
like it's just, and
Yeah.
it's nice that I felt loved and appreciated yesterday. So
because even when your matcha turned up, you was like, you've even got the matches.
yeah, like bless Tori as well. She'd got me a mattress, so she was fuming by the time she come and I weren't here. But yeah, no. So it was just nice, and then I had a nice evening. So yeah, it's just nice. I had a good day yesterday.
Good.
A day that I just was planning on just working turned out to be.
But I think it's really important to celebrate life because tomorrow is never promised.
No, it's so true. It is so true, and I was told that as well yesterday. You know, like you should celebrate and you should be celebrating life, and you made it to 35, and you know, and I'm like, yeah,
because some people don't.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was a good one.
High five, Marjorie.
High five, love.
Yeah, I love that for you.
But going back to obviously
boundaries again.
Yeah, and like when is enough enough? I think that like we said, I'm a giver, you're a giver, but for me, I think that it is hard for some people, like how I find it hard yesterday to receive that. And it is hard for people to sometimes receive that. And it's not in terms of, so when I'm giving, it's because I love to help people. My dad always instilled in me, if you're in a position to help people, always help.
Yeah.
And I thrive off of that, but I also get a buzz from people being happy and excited.
Yeah, and I feel like that's why we've even chosen this career.
Exactly.
Because we make people feel happy.
Yeah.
You
get like an adrenaline
rush.
rush.
And that's the adrenaline I get.
Yeah.
So even nursing.
Yeah.
We get adrenaline from naturally helping people and because we're caregivers.
Yeah.
So for me, seeing your reactions was
I could tell because you were like, smile. Let me just take a picture. And I was going, Shadia, stop.
But it's like, because it's capturing those things where for you, and at the same time, it's like, it's so nice because, like you said, it don't give you the ick, but it's like so like, oh, I can't do this. I can't handle this feeling where, because you're always in control. And when somebody does it for you, it's like, or paying the bill even, sometimes I'm like, no, I've got to pay my own bill. And I think it's an independency thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like because we've set it from young, where we've been quite independent, we don't want anyone else to do anything for us.
Yeah, I find it so difficult.
Yeah.
How do you find it? You know, if you went on a first date, for example, what is the
I just feel like I have to, I know it's really weird and cringy where women are like, oh no, you should let the man pay that. I just hate it because it's like, you're sitting there and you're worrying about what you're ordering in case the man ain't got enough to pay for the sirloin steak. Because I ain't mind just a salad. I'm having the whole shebang. Yeah. When I go out, I'm not looking at the prices because I'm hungry. No, I'm angry. Yeah. Like I've got a babysitter. I've got kids at home.
Yeah.
I've starved myself all day. Yeah. I've got my outfit on. I want a full-on steak and peppercorn sauce. I am not ramping.
Yeah.
Medium well done. And I'm looking at the man, I'm thinking, please, like, I don't expect you to pay for this. So I'm ordering that calamari. Like, do you want starters? Yep. I'm ordering some
and a dessert, thanks.
Yeah. And some coffee and some cheese.
No, so I find it really difficult as well. But for me, like, I always refer back to my dad because he always instilled these things into me of like, you know, you always have your own. But I think I think then this is where a lot of like previous partners will be like, oh, you're just in your masculine energy.
Yeah.
Because I've never expected for them to pay for anything.
But that's why I think you were shocked yesterday with me. Yeah. Because you felt uncomfortable, I think. Because it's like you're always that person.
But then I bet that's how men feel like, you know, when they're with me. Because I'm like, don't worry, it's fine, I'll do it. Don't worry, it's fine. Or I've done that already. Yeah. It must be a bit annoying.
I think it is big, but I just take control anyway. I don't take no for an answer. I'm one of those, like, I'm like...
No, I know, because I told you I was working yesterday and you were like...
No, listen, it's your birthday. I don't care. You literally got kidnapped and you was just like, even when we walked in, I was like, oh, God. Poor Tori, she hated me for a whole day. Today she was all right. But I just think, no, going back to it, it is important. And sometimes with women, a no is a yes. And a yes is a no. And take note. Yeah? This is where you go wrong. Do we want to go out when women are like, no? That means yes. So when we say no, it's no. Yeah? So you know, Carl.
That is hilarious.
It's a tip.
That is so ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I agree.
He must just be
Women.
No, it is. It's
No.
Shadia. I
Some
know what
women-
you're saying,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think that there's a point where you grow up and you're like, actually,
but
no, I
some
don't want to do
women-
that. Or yes, I want to do
They
that.
want to, but when they're angry and they will say no when they really mean yes.
Yeah, and they're just like,
Yeah.
their nose.
This
I
is
mean,
just tip for you.
But then, because me, for example, if you was hungry
Yeah.
and you was angry and
Yeah.
you said, no, I don't want nothing, I'd be like, okay then.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get something.
But not with food, but even with like anything, like going out, doing anything, like if you want, if you've had an argument and they're like, should I wash the dishes? No, it's fine.
I'll
Really,
do it.
you won't-
Oh, no, okay, get
Yeah,
that.
you
No,
mean
I'll
yeah.
do it, but really.
Because you think, no, you should be doing it. Don't ask me. Do you know what I mean? We're like, with
That
opposites.
is silly, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
When you actually, like, say it out
Yeah,
loud.
yeah. It's like you want them to
It
really...
sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, but it's the truth. That's how
Yeah.
women are. But going back to it, yeah, going for the meal thing, like, I find it so awkward because I want to pay for what I'm eating because I know, like, I don't want to feel like it makes me feel awkward that we're in that era where, or that day and age where we feel like men have to pay. Vice versa, I feel like it's a mutual thing. Don't get me wrong, not all the time, and even if it's 50-50, but what I'm saying, it's nice for a man to just take control and what have you. But do you understand what I mean?
No, 100%. So I had a conversation the other week and I was saying what annoys me about women these days is that they want to have that men look after me thing, but one, we're not in that day and age anymore, and you're not acting like the traditional role reversal thing that we're doing right now. So like for me, I just think, careful, my buzzball.
So, where is it?
It's down here.
Don't
Cheers.
know, right? Yeah. This is why
It's not my birthday vibes.
Yeah.
No, but I do think that
Like Bridgerton. That opening the doors and all that business.
chivalry is all fine. But in terms of like
Chivalry, darling.
Chivalry, darling. But in terms of like paying for things and things now, I do feel like in this day and age, there's nothing wrong with going 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I mean, back in the day, women weren't working.
Yeah.
So it was the men that would be doing
But
all
I
of that
feel like
and going out.
women now, their income is matching men, if not more.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And I feel like in that sense, but I'm not saying no, we have to pay for everything.
No.
And it's nice, but I'm saying it's nice to be that giver as much as a taker.
For sure.
Yeah, and even in a relationship, even holidays. Like if I'd go on a holiday, I'd pay. Like the next holiday, it's nice to do those things.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to feel appreciated and also appreciate them.
Yeah.
And I feel like it comes to that point where, and I feel like that relates again to social media. You know, where you see like a lot of celebrities like that. There's that. Is it that Keisha and Gucci Mane? Like he's always buying her things and like it was
but
someone's
also
birthday.
don't forget he went to prison. He gave her some money.
Yeah, I know
and
she
ended
flipped
up,
it and all that, but you know, like you're buying like Bentleys and it comes to an extreme. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, no, I do think that social media has a lot to. People then have unrealistic expectations because not everybody is in that tax
and then sometimes, and I feel like, and you didn't put all that out what we did yesterday on Instagram because you don't necessarily need everybody to see everything, but sometimes I feel like people are putting it out there where it's just a show for everybody else, and they're forgetting like the actual emotions behind it. Yeah.
But that's what we like touched on last week, wasn't it? We were talking about our children and doing things with our children, and I don't feel the need to post my whole life because like that it becomes a point where when are you present and when are you just doing it for
exactly
show?
And yesterday you was very present.
Yeah,
even I was because we wasn't actually even on our phones that much. American set. Have you ever watched Coming to America?
Yeah.
And I just keep looking at the wall like soul glow. Look at my arm.
Oh
touching
my God.
Have you ever watched it where they all move off the wall and it just got the soul glow?
Thank God. No, it's not. Thank God it's like a line wash effect. It can just blend in. But take your arm off the wall now, please, love. For God's sake.
At least I'm oiled.
Greasy arm.
I can finally afford some cream.
I know.
Vaseline glow. Not Coles.
On
Dry ice cream.
I was going to say, he'll remember that when you want some cream for your dry ass foot.
I've got some money from a podcast now. I can afford some Vaseline.
I can't believe that.
Well, we'll sort it out later.
I'll sort it out later, shall I? Hilarious.
Yeah. So, going back to it. we should put this out there as well. When is enough enough?
Yeah.
Where do you feel like it comes to a point where don't laugh. So yeah.
Yeah.
Where well, at least Vaseline's. But I feel like, you know, no, going back to it really, like as in, you know, like you're a female and it's your birthday, and like obviously I'm your friend and one of your close friends. If not, like becoming very. If you get married, I'm the maid of honor, bitches. So just so you know. So I feel like, yeah, we just got to put that out there. I feel like if you keep getting gifts, like, do you say like you're overwhelmed and that's enough? But then it could come to a point where, I'm not saying I've been in relationships in the past, he was very much like that. He did used to surprise me.
Yeah.
And we did that vice versa for each other. And we did, because we didn't really go out all the time for meals. We didn't go out so when it was time for our birthdays, we did show up and show out.
Yeah.
Because we wouldn't waste money all the time.
All year round.
Yeah, on unnecessary stuff. So when it was our birthdays, we would surprise each other. Like I took him to Jamaica.
Yeah.
He took me Cape Verde. We've been like Egypt. We'd always.
Do you know
surprise
what I
each other
think
with
it
things
is
like that.
actually? Because when you say when is enough, I do think that it's never when you want that from somebody, like it's fine. But have you ever received like some things or love from someone that you've not wanted? Because that's when that's when I feel like it's too much. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Why did you feel like that yesterday?
No, I'm talking about just general.
No,
I'm talking about in general. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about from anyone, whether it's friends, relationships. You know, like when someone's a little bit more into something.
Yeah, and you're not.
Do you know
into
what I mean?
them.
And you're not into them, and they start doing all these things for you, and it's a lovely
Oh,
idea.
that's so awkward.
Do you know what I mean? But you're like a bit like, oh, I don't really want to.
I can't. I remember when I was young. I was about 15, 16. I worked in T-Mobile, and this old man, and I swear he had a Bentley and everything. No, he would have been a sugar daddy. And I remember going to a race. He just kept coming into T-Mobile. I accepted the invite. I went to the race courses with him. It was so awkward. Everyone was asking, is that my uncle? Is that your niece? But you had like loads of money. My mum was like, yeah, he's nice. I was thinking he's about 50. Like these times I'm 21.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
And it was just so weird. But when you see that now, it's kind of the norm. Where you see like in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, certain places, like there's one woman I see where her husband's quite really old and he just keeps giving her Birkins and handbags. She's on Instagram.
Oh, yeah, you see a few of them on TikTok.
And you just feel like I just couldn't.
No,
I couldn't. Imagine, just imagine.
But you know
being
what,
on
though? I do think, though, it comes down to, so I wouldn't be able to.
Hi, old man.
Oh, my God. Yes, it would be too much.
I'd be like, I'm done.
No, but I do think it comes down to, so like, we have our own thing going on. So I think people that might necessarily, I don't know, people are brought up differently, aren't they?
Yeah.
So I was never brought up to that's not what I should be valuing in a person, what they give me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So some
You
people
take people for face value. It doesn't matter what they've got.
Yeah, and like it doesn't matter what they got. Like how I treat you, who could, you know, we can do these things to get. Would be the same person, the same way I would treat someone who maybe is working 10 hours in. 10 hours in.
We don't
wherever.
expect. That's why. So there's different expectations. Yeah. But then when you come across people where you think you've got a business, you drive a range, you've got money, do they expect?
Yeah.
Because of your different job role?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
And I think, but that's what I mean. I think I'm learning now, the older I get, is to who to give to and who to not.
Yeah, but then exactly, and who will value what, as in not the value of what it is or the monetization behind it.
It's the appreciation.
Yes.
Yeah. It's the appreciation because, for real. Because I've done stuff for people and then it just becomes expected. But then there's like others, like we buy each other little things at uni, whatever. Like I'll buy you a coffee, you'll buy me a coffee, and we genuinely will show appreciation for our little things.
You'll pay for meals, I'll pay for meals. It's like, no, I've got this. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I hate it because I'm like, no, let me do it. And they're already there with your phone, but we like that. But then when it comes to a point like that, I'm like that with my friends sometimes, with other people, but then it's not that they don't do it for me, but then does it become expected? Yeah. Because I do it all the time. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I thought you still doing. No, there's one over there.
No, I've drunk mine.
No, I want this one because it's my favourite one. I haven't had this one in ages.
After what I did to you yesterday.
Don't.
No. But
I know, throwing it in my face.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say.
This is why I don't like people doing things for me.
This is what I was going to say as a joke. That is why, as well, I hate when people do things to me.
Yeah, because you don't want it thrown in your
Because
face.
straight away,
Over a buzzwall.
no.
She went, give me some of that. And I said, no, there's one over there.
I
And
was
she
joking,
went,
it's
after
over.
what I did for you
Oh,
yesterday.
yeah, I was taking the piss. But listen, no, genuinely, I swear to God, that is one of the reasons why I don't allow people to do things for me.
Yeah,
I
'cause you
genuinely,
don't. No, I know.
I hate somebody having one over me.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I
I'm
mean?
the same.
Even like when
See
I
you later,
used to
babe.
say to when anyone would have my kids, I'd hate it.
Yeah.
I'd hate asking where I just feel like if you were going to make it awkward or where you're like, oh, you tell me what you've done when I pay, or there's other times I just think, and the amount I give more than what you give me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I feel like that's another thing when people benefit from you more of being around you. Then do you understand what I'm saying? You have to choose your circle very wisely.
For sure. I agree. It is so important. But that's what, like I said, the older I'm getting, the more I'm learning that I think that, like I said, I always take people as face value, whereas now I need to start using my intuition more for sure, because it's normally, like I said, I'll get the intuition and then I'll be like, doesn't matter, they'll be all right, or they've not done anything. So yeah,
but it's also giving people chances. But I don't know, what is it? Once bitten, twice shy, and I feel like,
is that right?
Well, that
also, actually, I'm not even turning to Carl to ask anymore, because last week when we filmed, I said, oh, my formative years. It was right. And both of you were like, no.
Did you chat GPT?
Trying to make...
Check it
How could I chat GPT?
How did you know?
No, I Googled it afterwards because I thought, was I sounding stupid when I said that?
No,
and I was correct. Did you double check as well? See?
Who even says that? My formative years. How old are you? You're 35. Not 95.
Listen. Just so I'm not a dunce.
I love that. Even that, dunce. Still has to be posh. But most people say I'm not dumb or a div. I'm not dunce. I was born in the 1920s. Bridgerton, darling.
Oh, thanks, chats. It's going on all week, Carl.
You're drinking all week.
Why not? Life is for living.
I'm not drinking all week, but still. Actually, no, I haven't.
Do you know how many people I've got on these, though? It's unreal.
Same.
People have never even
I keep
had
telling them about the choc teas ones as well, and people are like, I'm like, no, it's bad.
And Carl was looking at us like, what are you have you never seen them?
No.
Oh my God, we've got to introduce you.
Yeah.
Carl,
there's one over there. Carl, do you want one?
No, but this is
No,
a drink of the
we're
summer.
not.
They're not like that.
I'm not.
Listen, since I've met her, I swear to God, I've become an alcoholic.
Oh, stop.
It's the nursing degree.
No,
Should we get a
I was
buzz ball?
gonna say.
I swear to God, she'll message me like,
No,
what are you
I
doing?
won't.
Should we go out? Should we get a buzz ball?
You're such a liar.
Listen, I've never drunk so much since I've met you.
Yeah, but
I've probably about 20 stone. Fucking alcohol. She's there slimming down. So, no, if you went out with a man for a meal, does it make you feel uncomfortable with the amount of things that you're ordering? Tell the truth. Because you feel like when it comes to that end of paying, because I'll be just ordering the most cocktails.
I'll be quite honest though. So right now, because I had the like skinny shots and things last year, the injection,
shots, yeah.
So like my appetite isn't fully there. So when I go, I am like, I'll have a salad. That's me right now.
Yeah, but you'll have cocktails.
I will have cocktails.
And they're like £20 a piece. So like you've had 4 cocktails,
Yeah.
80 quid.
No, but you see, do you know what the thing is? Whenever I go out or if I'm on a date or whatever, I'll never go with no money.
No,
do you know what I mean?
Of course you won't. But what I'm saying
no, but
is,
some people do. Is what I'm saying.
No,
and some people it's expected.
But it makes me feel uncomfortable when, because I'm like, yeah, I'll have a very berry martini or I'll have a Cosmo. I'm there ordering, and I look at that person and I'm thinking, but like, no, with my kids, no, never at all. I've never felt in anywhere because I know he knows how I am. I'm like, yeah, I'll have the sirloin, I'll have this. It's like, yeah, you just order what you're ordering.
Yeah.
But I feel like after you've done so many dates and you're so comfortable, you get like that. But it is awkward when you do go out, even with a group of girls, because I can't stand when everybody will be sitting there at the end of the thing, getting the men,
pinching and
calculating. Oh well, I had only that.
The penny of.
Oh, it makes me feel sick. I have to put more in just to shut them up. I just think, no, please don't do it. Just how many people are here? I split it by how many's there. Don't worry about, oh, I didn't have a pop, I had a water instead to save. Like, why have you come out? Do you know what I mean?
But
I can't deal with it.
what I think you need to realise as well is not everybody. So like, let's say I don't know, there was 5 girls out. So I'll adapt to my environment.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
with me and you, I'll know that we're fine to just split.
I
Whereas
might
there
be
are
broke that weekend.
huh?
Might be broke, but you would still cover me.
No, I would. But what
Yeah.
I'm saying is, yeah, but
No,
we're
I'm
at
just
that. No, no, but we're at that.
I'm catching her out.
No, we're at that point
Yeah, yeah,
anyway in
yeah.
our friendship or whatever. Whereas if you were to say, Rufaro,
I've
I ain't
got
got the
too
money
much
right now,
going on.
whatever.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
we'd sort it. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you have to adapt to your environment because some people want to go to these nice places and they can't necessarily.
Don't go
so
then.
No,
No,
I don't think that's fair.
I don't business. Do not come out.
No, I don't think that's fair, Shadia.
Because I've been on holiday and I've been in occasions before, and people are sending food back and causing a big. It was one of my worst holidays ever, and I remember like they were like, oh, let's just see what the food comes out first, like, and it's so awkward because this is a service and you're at people's restaurants.
Yeah, but
I hate that feeling.
No, I know, but what you also need to realise is not everybody is in a position where they can, and it doesn't mean as though they shouldn't be there because they wait, let me finish, because let's say people times are hard now, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, the cost of living now. I'm
yeah, but regardless, the cost of living right now is high. So like some people, they still deserve to go out and they still whatever, but they might have only budgeted that they can spend £40. So like then, you know, people like us going, yeah, I'll have 5 very cocktails, and they've only had a
to
water.
Go to Fumo because Fumo ain't going to cover you £40.
No, but they might have just thought I'll have a water and I'll have some truffle fries. Do you know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, like, so yeah, sometimes you've got to learn. No, but can you see what I'm saying?
But I just still feel like
I don't think that
let's
that
just
means
go to McDonald's
that
instead.
No, I still think that.
It's a conversation that needs to be had.
Yeah, prior. Yeah, and you'd be on a group chat saying, look, this is where we're going to go. Or you would download the menu and you'd put it on so people know and they're aware of the prices.
Yeah, but that's what I'm trying to say.
Well, no, I'm not being that horrible because when I have been out before and there's girls and I know they haven't, I'll just not even blatantly do it. I'll just be like, don't worry about it. I'll sort you. Do you know what I mean? Like say it on the side because I know they've gone over or whatever, and you don't want to.
Then some
you
people
won't.
are
Do you know
proud,
what I'm saying? You
they
won't
might
top
just be
them up like
you know
that.
what? No, like I've got this money.
Yeah.
And this is what I've put aside for it, and blah blah blah. So like, yeah, I just feel like I kind of when I go out with groups of people, I'll kind of gauge.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I'll just run with that.
People that go Ibiza and on holidays and that you're spending your money till you're broke and you need people. I've had people ring me like, Shadia, can you send me money? I'm like, why have you gone on a holiday and have got no money left?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Like, I'll be taking money for emergencies. I'll have an emergency cash fund. I'll have my credit just in case you are abroad. You don't know what's going to happen.
There are some people that make questionable decisions.
Don't even pay for like travel insurance. Are you crazy?
Oh, see, I don't pay for travel insurance. That's really bad. Honestly, I know.
Are you joking?
No, like I have done on a couple of occasions, but I tend to not. You know,
no,
I don't know why as well, 'cause it's so cheap. Like it's.
No.
I can't swim. So no, there's no diving activities for me.
So even for your kids, no, because for me, well, I get it with my bank, but
it's actually really silly. Like when I say
mom, no, you've got to.
I know. It's. I don't know why.
Every holiday I've been on, I've had to use my travel insurance.
Have you?
One child's been sick, vomiting, died. When we went to Turkey, I had to go straight to the doctor, straight to on the thing.
Yeah.
I had to claim. You always should have travel insurance.
I know.
You know when you go on like a date, but you don't want to actually see that person again.
Yeah.
It's so awkward.
Oh, what, for like paying?
No, but do you just block them? Or do you tell them?
No, so actually, this has happened to me before, and I just had an adult conversation, and I just said, you know what, you're a nice guy, lovely, but it's just not really for me and what I'm wanting.
Yeah, like a day job.
But I don't think that I wouldn't have done that back in the day. I probably would have just ignored until.
Yeah, but do they just say, okay, that's fine? Or do they keep pursuing? Because I just find it so cringy when people don't get that no for an answer. It really annoys me.
But I think the people that can't take no for an answer are the people that probably hasn't happened to before.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Because for me, I only need to get told no once.
Yeah.
All right, see you later.
Yeah, but I feel like with men, it's different.
Yeah.
Because they don't get the hint.
No, some men don't, but...
Do you know what I mean? Like, they'll keep like, I'm not going to get into it, but I was just like, oh.
Yeah.
And you know, when you just like, if it pops up, I'm just like, oh my God, I've got to block you now. I just
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Because I've not answered you, not responded.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
if you've already like set your boundary and said,
Yeah.
"Do you know what, no, this isn't for me,
No.
then
It gets awkward.
yeah, it doesn't need to
You
get
feel
awkward
sorry
if we're
for
all
them.
adult and you
Yeah.
because I just think if the problem is people don't if it doesn't fit their narrative or what they're wanting, that's when obviously the problems or
Yeah.
they get a bit awkward and weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've not experienced like going on a date and then afterwards thinking.
I don't think I have, but I have.
Would you then feel awkward like if they'd paid for the date, or no? You just think, oh well.
No, but I've got a sirloin. My peppercorn sauce.
Got fed, so you're good.
Yeah. Belly's good. I'm happy. I'm fed. I'm sleeping. I'm gonna sleep good tonight. But no,
goodness me.
I feel like, but in relationships, going back to it, it is nice to be able to be that person where, and financially, not everyone can, but we'll say, I've got you, babe, don't worry about it.
But
You've got me.
I think that's what it's all about when you're in a relationship with
in
someone.
general.
I think that if you truly love someone, everyone's going to be up at one point, down at one point. Do you know what I mean? No one's...
You don't know what everyone has to go through in their personal life.
Yeah.
And I feel like even in relationships, do you discuss how much you financially make?
What do you think?
I feel like it comes to a point where, see, I was very open, but it comes to a point where do you be so open and let everybody know exactly what you're making and what, because then do they expect you to cover
No, I
all
think
of
when you're
everything?
actually in a proper relationship,
50-50.
then no, I don't think necessarily 50-50.
I do feel like if you're in a household and you're sharing responsibilities and you're sharing household bills.
Why I'm saying, yeah. I feel like, yes, if you're both financially in that situation, but sometimes it's not, and sometimes people have got a lot of, a greater income than the other. So in terms of that, is 50-50 viable? Do you know what I mean?
Do you think it's uncomfortable when the woman makes more than the man?
Not for me. I think that in a lot of situations that I've been in, that has been the case for me.
But do you feel like the men feel less of a man? But that's where the masculine energy takes over.
Yeah.
Because you're the main breadwinner.
No, actually, sorry, I'm going to take that back. I feel like that. Sorry, No, so I feel like when, I can only talk from my personal situations, but from, like I said, most situations that I've been in, I've been the breadwinner as such, and that doesn't make me then fall into my masculine energy. I think what makes me fall into my masculine energy is other situations of maybe if I don't really respect you.
Yeah, but I just feel like as a woman, it's still nice to feel like how you felt. Was it yesterday? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Where I'm not letting you put your hand in your pocket. You shouldn't. You should, regardless anyway, it's your birthday. But whereas in no, I've got you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I do like a man that can take control.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be that person that's always taking control in that sense, because then I'm not saying why. No, in everything, holiday planning or surprising, or say I want to say, oh, let's go away, but it's all left to me to organise everything.
Yeah.
I want someone where they can say, you know what, this is what I've done.
Yeah.
This is what I've planned. I want someone who's a bit adventurous.
Yeah.
Where they take control.
No, I agree with that.
Because we are very much our own leaders, and we're not followers of Rufaro.
Yeah.
Where we do set a place, we set pace, and I'm sorry, but even if I'm at a concert, I ain't queuing. I will walk to the front. I'm like, oh, I don't know what you're doing, but no one's gonna know. But I just can't do what everybody else does. I've never been like that in life.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? It's very hard for me to be conformed. Is that the right word? Google it. What was it? Formative.
Formative, yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like in that sense, and I'm not saying I'm trying to say I go against the grain, but I don't like to be that same sheep like everybody else. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I feel like that's because we set such a high standard and expectancy, not because we put it in place, because it's who we are.
Yeah.
And we're not trying to.
Yeah.
And you could just take me to Nando's and I would genuinely be grateful. And I wouldn't be like, oh, you've just took me to Nando's. It's the thought that counts.
Yeah.
And it genuinely is the thought. It's nice to pre-plan something in advance. Like, obviously, what I did for you. Like, we couldn't miss that time. That's what I was saying. Now, I need to pick you up at 9:15 because I know. And it wasn't so much of the clients and everything else. I was letting that woman down.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
she'd taken that time out of got her own it's her jewelers. So she's done me a favour by setting that up for that time. So you're not just letting someone else down. But where it's the caring and the thought process that you take that time out for me to think about what I possibly might like. And I feel like that's where the appreciation goes in place. Because you don't need to go, I'm not saying go to Jamaica or Dominican, you could have just driven to Cornwall and watch the sunset go down. You can do the smallest, silliest things, but it's what you like. And like, I know you like delicate stuff. I know you obviously I know you like flowers. I know you like you're a person that's quite, you like funny people because you're quite a very serious person.
You think I'm serious?
Yeah.
Do
and
you
I feel
really?
like with me and you, we are very yin and yang, and that's why we have got along so well. Because you're silly, but in a good way, because you love it, because you're very straight. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Do you think I am?
In a good way, yeah. Because you'll be like, no, Shadia, come on now.
No, do you know what I think it is? I don't think it's that I'm not silly. I don't think it's that I'm straight either. I think that I'm just a bit more you will just say, and I will think more about the consequences of what I'm saying. So it might come across as
but not straight. Like,
no, I know what you're saying.
You're very it's like
serious,
in a way, mature. As in you're very lawyer, and I'm the criminal.
That is hilarious.
Get in line. That's what I'm on about. And I feel like when yesterday when I seen you completely out of control, that was great for me, because
you're living life.
Because you're always like, no, come on, let's go in my car, come on, I'll be the driver. And you hated it, absolutely hated it, and I found it hilarious.
Yeah, you did. You was just like this, smile, don't take it, smile. It was awful. But it was great. Yeah, it was nice. I'm glad we did our little thing.
And I am, and I feel like, but you should allow people to do that more often, and let them, not take control of you, but you don't always have to be that person that always controls everything. Your life won't collapse. We'll still get you back to your clients. You'll still have a good day. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like you don't like to let go, whereas because you've always been that person.
Yeah.
But it's the same like me.
Yeah.
And I can't feel like, if someone's planned it all, I feel, I hate it. If I've gone on a holiday and someone else has done everything and I have to get involved. I'd have to cook, I'd have to do that, I'd have to go shopping. I need to know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of these women, I'm going on one at the end of the year, we're going to, I think it's Bali, but I'm dreading it because I'm not in control of nothing.
Yeah.
And because I'm older and I am a mum, I'm always that mother figure where I mother everybody.
Yeah.
So, I'm
That's
a feeder.
exciting though, you're going Bali.
I know. It'll be like a whole holistic retreat.
Zen.
Yeah.
No, I love that. It'll be nice.
I've been in this industry for over 20 years. I started with nails. I started with beauty. I did lashes. I did makeup. I did Asian bridal makeup for a while. That's where I kind of started in Hall Green, Solio. I did a lot of the Asian. That's why I've got quite a big community following. And I have a lot of clients from the Asian background, and even in Leicester. But where it come to a point where, when did doctors jump on this? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? When did they make it medical? Because doing lip fillers and cheeks and noses.
No, I do think it's always been medical.
No, as in aspirating and whatever else like that.
No, I know. I think that I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong in the sense of.
No, but when you're injecting.
Yeah, exactly. I do think it's
creating. No, but at the same time, it's creating an art form of lips and things like that. That's totally different to what doctors and nurses do. Because when I teach doctors and nurses, it's so hard. They're like the hardest students because they're used to going straight into an artery, straight into a vein, straight to set up a cannula. They're not very light. They're not very creative. They're not looking
No,
at
it's
the
the
beauty
creative
side of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. It's the creative side of it. But in terms of the actual treatment, but this is where I think that it's got lost because I think that that's why there's so many people jumping on it. People are forgetting that these are serious procedures.
Yeah. And
It
like you
shouldn't be
can get
taken
necrosis
lightly.
and you can
Of
get
course, like this isn't an industry that should be taken lightly in that sense whatsoever. So I'm all for like regulations. We need them because it's becoming a joke.
100%.
But at the same time, I completely get it. I do think that you have to have that aesthetic eye. That's not saying a doctor or nurse can't have that.
No.
But I get what you're saying. In the
I feel
sense
like it's come from a beauty because the beauticians and then they went into aesthetics. And I feel like as a beautician, they was kind of looked down upon. And then when it became a bit more higher with the aesthetics, because back in the day, it was only dentists really that was doing Botox and things like that. And there was doctors touching on it. And then, but with the lips, I feel like it was lips first for beauticians. A lot of people started doing lip fillers, fat dissolvers, and then it kind of went on to anti-wrinkles and things like that. Because what did you do first? What treatments did you start doing first?
It was fillers.
Yeah.
But in terms of, so obviously I did dental nursing before that, and the dentist that I worked with, he mainly did Botox, but he did do fillers.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think that
there's also, there's definitely a medical side of it.
Of course,
because you have to make sure you know the anatomy of the face, where you're putting the product, how that fits into molecules, how that will sit into lips, how they go into pockets. You're explaining what we're going to do. Even the description of like, I get a lot of girls wear fillers in their wet line border where there's actual bubbles. And these are from trained, like I had a woman not so long ago, she went to a doctor, a well-known doctor. Her lips was ruined.
Yeah, but then on the flip side of that though, regardless if you are a doctor, dentist, nurse,
aesthetic practitioner, beautician,
beautician, you all have to attend the same training.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But what I think the issue is that obviously the doctors and nurses have that more medical background in the sense of they've got a more clinical aspect to things than what
a beautician would say.
No, not even beauticians, because it's the training as well that they receive, but not necessarily beauticians, because people that are doing micro needling and things like that, you've got clinical environment anyway. You're piercing the skin, but with these training academies now that have just popped up and they just take people on that have got absolutely zero qualifications and no experience.
It's too risky.
Yeah, but it is because they don't understand the like we said about the clinical aspect of things, and even cleanliness and sterile environments and things like that. Like they just don't have that thought process. I think that it's not something that
anyone can just pick up and say.
No, you can't.
You could be like making curtains or like doing fashion and then say, actually, I want to do now aesthetics.
Yeah, and just expecting.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching this chaotic episode 4.
Birthday week.
We've literally, it's, do you know what? I'm going to put it down to it being my birthday, and we've been on Buzzballs and just had a bit of a crazy time. But yeah, we hope you've enjoyed it. We certainly have.
No, we have. So, next episode, we will be having a guest on. Or 2.
A guest.
No.
Why 2?
Mini-me's.
Oh.
So, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tuned.
Good day. Ta-ta.